Emily never believed in ghosts, or curses, or strange coincidences. But all of that changed the night she found the photograph. It was buried deep in an old wooden chest in her attic, dust-covered, yellowed with time, a forgotten memory of her childhood. Her family stood together in their backyard, smiling at the camera. But as she traced their faces with her fingers, she saw him, a man in the background, staring, expressionless, watching them. And the strangest part? She recognized him. He was her neighbor, the same man who lived across the street today. Emily's hands trembled as she clutched the photograph. It didn't make sense. This picture was taken over 30 years ago, but the man in it hadn't aged a day. She hurried to the window, pulling back the curtain. There, across the street, standing on his porch, was the same man, motionless. And as if sensing her gaze, he slowly turned his head and smiled. Her heart pounded. She needed answers. Emily searched through old town records, newspaper archives, anything that could explain who he was. And then she found it. A news article from decades ago. Local man found dead in his home, body undiscovered for years. The photograph in the article was unmistakable. It was him. But how could he be dead if he was standing outside her house? The air in her house grew heavy, suffocating. A deep sense of dread settled over her. And then, knock, knock. The sound echoed through her home, slow, deliberate. She turned toward the front door, every instinct screaming at her not to move. But something, some unseen force, compelled her forward. Her fingers reached for the handle. The moment she touched it, the lights flickered, and the knock came again, louder, more insistent. Emily's breath was shallow. She had to see, had to know. With a trembling hand, she unlocked the door and pulled it open. But there was no one there, only the cold night air. Her street was empty, silent. But as she stepped back inside, the old photograph slipped from her fingers. It landed face up, and now there were no smiling faces in the picture, no happy memories, just the man, standing alone, smiling, and behind him was her house. Panic surged through her. She spun around, her eyes darting to the window. Across the street, the man was still there, but now he was closer, standing not on his porch, but at the edge of her driveway, still smiling, still staring, as if waiting. And then the lights in her house went out. The power returned in a flicker. Emily gasped, spinning back to the window, but he was gone. The street was empty once more. Only the rustling of the wind remained. But she knew. Somehow, she knew. He wasn't gone. He was still watching, waiting. And when she looked down at the photograph one last time, the man was no longer in it, because now he was here. Some things are better left undiscovered. Some faces should remain forgotten. If you ever find an old photograph, take a closer look. You might see someone you don't remember, but they remember you. Subscribe for more terrifying stories, and be careful, because sometimes the past refuses to stay buried.